fire Robert Mueller, because that would be clearly something that he would be considering right now in order to shut down this investigation, which he has been trying to do from its very inception.
Well, in fairness, his lawyer at least is saying that he plans to cooperate in every way. So do you still have concerns that he might try to fire Robert Mueller or compromise the investigation?
Well, the president continues to argue that the whole Russian investigation is a hoax. And if he believes that, then it is pretty clear that he would seriously consider firing Robert Mueller. He would seriously consider giving a pardon to Paul Manafort or to Rick Gates. And either one of those actions would trigger a major constitutional crisis in the United States. And so I just think that we all have to understand that the president, if he's good for his word and he thinks that it's a hoax, is still reserving the right to engage in those kinds of activities. And then it will be basically the responsibility on a bipartisan basis for Democrats and Republicans in Congress to protect Mueller and to ensure that this investigation moves forward with all of the aggressiveness that Mueller has been giving to it.
Do you think you could get the votes? You're in the minority.
I think that there is strong bipartisan support for Mueller. That has been the case since the first day when he was announced. I think we've heard those kinds of sentiments from Lindsey Graham, from Tom Tillis, and from others in the Senate on a bipartisan basis. And I think that the Republicans would be hard-pressed to support a president who actually had fired the investigator who was in the process of documenting Russian interference in the selection of the President of the United States.
The president and his allies, as well as one news organization, have been focusing almost entirely on Hillary Clinton. The fact that the Clinton campaign did hire the firm that ended up producing the dossier through Christopher Steele, the former intelligence official, the intelligence agent from the British Intelligence Service, and also the fact that there was this uranium deal while she was Secretary of State. She has said that she had nothing to do with it. This was Clinton at the Human Rights Campaign gala on Saturday night.
It does strike me that in the last few days, at least Fox News seems to think that's where I live in the White House. Because they spend a disproportionate amount of their time talking about impeaching me.
So she went on to talk about the fact that she is being criticized when she actually lost the election. At this stage, do you think that there is a legitimate issue about what the Democrats did as well as what the Republicans arguably did during the campaign?
Look, at what Donald Trump is doing is he's just throwing out all of these red herrings about Hillary Clinton. As a matter of fact, there are so many red herrings the president has been putting out over the last 2 or 3 days that we probably will have to have an aquarium to put all of these red herrings in. But it's all clearly intended to get away from the central point that there has been a guilty plea and 2 other indictments which have been brought down here today. And the president is just throwing out Hillary Clinton as red meat to his base in order to give himself some kind of core support. But ultimately, this whole issue is just going to continue to return to the Trump campaign and the Trump White House. What did they know and when did they know it about Russian interference in our elections?
Senator Ed Markey coming to us from Boston today. Thank you so much. And coming up, Paul Manafort and Rick Gates expected to appear in court in under an hour. At the top of the hour, we will also hear from Sarah Sanders in the first White House briefing since these indictments were announced. Stay with us right here on Andea Mitchell Reports on MSNBC. And welcome back. We have this statement from George Papadopoulos' attorney, who says it is in the best interest of our client, George Papadopoulos, that we refrain from commenting on George's case. We will have the opportunity to comment on George's involvement when called upon by the court at a later date. We look forward to presenting all the facts that led to the events that resulted in this charge. Joining me now for the Inside Scoop, Charlie Sykes, conservative commentator and MSNBC contributor, and Carol Lee, NBC's national political reporter. Charlie, the political fallout from this, the president pushing back, saying that it really should be Hillary Clinton that we're looking at. We'll have more to say about that in a moment. But the fact is, they have a cooperating witness. And clearly his lawyer will be speaking once other indictments or other results, let's say, come out of whatever he has been telling the special prosecutor, Robert Mueller.
Yeah, and remember, this is just the beginning. These are just the first indictments of what is obviously a rolling investigation. And the Papadopoulos indictment has got to be the one that has Trump world really sweating, because it's a guilty plea. It directly deals with collusion, and he is cooperating. You know, and this also comes at a rather dramatic moment, because it felt like there was a coordinated campaign over the last week to discredit this investigation, to shift the focus from the Trump investigation to Hillary Clinton. I mean, this was like a bonfire of whataboutism, trying to change the subject. And now you have real laws, real indictments, real guilty pleas. So this comes at a crucial moment.
And of course, that was replicating, what you just referenced was replicating the way the president, when he was a candidate,
Yes,
handled it all just a year ago. This is what Donald Trump was saying about Hillary Clinton.
The FBI, after discovering new email, is reopening their investigation into Hillary Clinton. I have great respect for the FBI for righting this wrong. We hope all justice will finally be served. The news this morning is this is bigger than Watergate.
Bigger than Watergate. And this was, of course, when James Comey, 12 days before the election, reopened the email investigation, which, according to the NBC News Politics Unit, Mark Murray, you can tell from the polling, that is when her momentum hit an absolute brick wall. Now, Carol Lee, we know there were other problems in the campaign, which she has herself acknowledged. But there's no question that the Comey announcement, which Donald Trump seized upon immediately, understandably, given the way the campaign was going, absolutely stopped her dead in her tracks.
And there's no question that she and people who worked closely with her on her campaign still seethe over that. You know, you see Secretary Clinton bring it up. You've seen other people who are around her bring it up repeatedly. And I think the fact that, you know, you're looking at that clip and then you're looking at what happened today, and now we're seeing some of the things that were happening behind the scenes with the Trump campaign. So it's just redredging all of this up for the Clinton folks. And you know, I think we'll see a little bit more of that from her today.
Now, they have a very powerful megaphone in the White House. They're going to have a White House briefing. We've got the president's tweets. But let's look at the details in these indictments today, Carol.
Right, there's a number of things. I mean, you have tax evasion, money laundering, you know, false statements to the FBI, and what isn't there is a link to explicit link to the Trump campaign, which is what you're going to hear the White House seize upon. We've already seen a little bit of that. They've now moved the briefing up to 15 minutes to 1:15. You know, they're going to, I think, try to continue to distance themselves and the president from Paul Manafort. That's really just a very difficult thing to do. The tape is there. I mean, you know, he was a key player in the Trump campaign, and he came in at a really important time. So, but that's not going to stop them.
And Charlie, you're in the Midwest, you're in Wisconsin. How is it going to play? How is it playing out there?
Well, what I would suggest to Republicans, because it's not just how the White House is going to respond, it's also how Republicans throughout the country, congressional Republicans, Speaker Paul Ryan will react to all of this. Just step back and ask, how would they be reacting if, in fact, it was President Hillary Clinton and these stories were coming out? Are they really going to hold their guy to a completely different standard? I mean, I know that we live in an era where there are shifting standards and it's finger pointing and it's the whataboutism, but I'm trying to imagine, you know, how congressional Republicans would be reacting, what they would be saying if we had this kind of evidence about the Clinton administration, the sleaze, the lying to the FBI. And I do hope that there is a role here for congressional Republicans to hold this administration accountable. I'm not optimistic, but at least it ought to be something that they should consider, because there's a lot more to come.
And indeed, and we will have more as we continue to cover this breaking story, the appearance at the courthouse. That does strike me that they've moved up the White House briefing in order to try to take attention away from people walking in and out of the courthouse. Carol Lee, Charlie Sykes, as always.